Robert, how you doing today? Happy Tuesday or happy next day or whatever. Just glad to be here. Anyway, you have any questions on yesterday's broadcast about cut time? And one more question, 30-second notes. Are you familiar with 30-second notes? See, all of this, what I'm doing now is leading into the workbook or the formula book, the cut time. We understand what the cut time means? All right, 16th notes, 30-second notes. Now, because you're going to need 30-second notes when you're reading or you're interpreting the syncopation book. Like, for example, if you had 1-E-N, that would be 1-E. We'll get to that, but how are you with that? And guys, I want to wait till the chat populates somewhat. I'm a little early. You're all right with the 30-second notes. You know, there's a couple different exercises in the stick control book which will help you with the 30-second note. What I like to do is take it's actually a 5-measure increment. All right, and I play 8th notes, 16th notes, 30-second notes, back to 16th notes, to 8th notes, so on and so forth, up and down. This is what I mean. If I'm playing 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 4, then 16, 3, 30 seconds. 16. Did you understand that, what I just did there, Bob? I played 1 measure of 8th notes, 1 and, nice and easy, 3 and 4 and. The next measure is going to be 1 measure of 16ths. Next measure is going to be 1 measure of 30 seconds. And then back. Okay, do you know how to count to 30? How do you count to 30 seconds, Robert? I just count 16th note count. 1, E, and So that's 4 16th notes to the quarter. 1, E, and 2, E, and So what I do now, if I want to make them 30-second notes, I double the stroke within the count. Now here's the count. 2, E, now 30 seconds. 1, E, and 2, E, and. That's it. Very good, Robert. You got it. Did you learn that from me, or that's how you've done it all your life, or since you've been playing? Dang. Oh, anyway, my left hand is feeling better, and I think I'm going to be able to make some videos. And I'm going to do, like I said, a couple, maybe 5 free videos referencing from the stick control formulas. And I'm going to advertise. I'm going to make an advertisement video of the 2 books, the workbook and the formula book. And I stayed up very late last night working on the syncopation formulas. So a lot of things are happening here. I'm never with a lack of work, that's for sure. Lack of money, maybe, but that's beside the point. Maybe eventually that will come. I'm going to throw out a little bit of, well, that's exactly how I count them, Robert. I count the 16ths, 1 E and 2, and then I double the stroke. What that is, if you look at the table of time, it's a grouping of 4 and a grouping of 8. Now, the ultimate thing there, to make the transition from 16ths to 30 seconds is no accent. I like to tag a slight accent on the downbeat, so I differentiate between the 16ths and 30 seconds. Not that you have to, but I feel more comfortable. Okay, so now, you want to go forward with what we were working with in the syncopation book yesterday? Or you want to go on to something else? Because if it doesn't populate the way it's supposed to, what I'm going to do is give you the option of what you like to work on or what ails you. Okay, thank you. Does it work for you, Robert? Syncopation book, gentlemen. Yes, no? All right. Let's do something kind of unusual here, being that we're working with 30-second notes, okay? Let's go to show you how to develop this in cut time. Man, I'll tell you, let's go. Man, why are you sticking together, book? All right, let's go to page 20. Page 20, lesson number 9. Now, there's so many different drummers in this world, so many great drummers. They don't even realize. I'm not great, but man, so very knowledgeable. And one thing that really, it doesn't annoy me, but I'm curious to know why. You know, the development of reading. Reading is the language of music. That's where it starts. You know, it's like you go buy something, say at Home Depot, for your home. You open up the box, it comes with instruction sheet. You have to read the sheet first before you put it together. Well, it's the same scenario. You have to learn how to read before you get expand upon it. That's how I feel. Some guys, they play just by ear, and they're eliminating a lot of different things in their life. Okay, let's start with, are you there, Robert, on that page? Page 20, lesson 9. Let me know when you're there. You're there. So we have 1 E and the 2, 3, 4. 1 E and the 2, 3, 4. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, that's written in 4/4 time. Now remember what we talked about yesterday when you're reading the cut time. If I have a quarter note, that becomes an eighth note. Okay, if I have an eighth note, that becomes a 16th. Now we didn't hit upon if I have a 16th. If I have a 16th, it becomes a 32nd note. So how do we do line 1 as 1 E and the 2, straight time, 4. We're going to have 1 E and 2. Let's do that again. 1 E and 2 E and. You understand that, Robert? 1 E and 2 E and. Here we go. Want me to slow that down? Because I'll be writing some drum charts out. You understand that? Where is everybody today? I guess everybody went to work instead of staying home and watching me live. You have to do that. You don't understand it. All right. 16ths. 1 E and Now remember, that becomes 30 seconds. 1 E and 2 and. 1 E and 2 E and I'm taking the 30 seconds. I mean the 16ths, making them 30 seconds. 1 E and. And I just played to the first quarter note. 1 E and. Getting it now? If not, I'll break it down some more. 1 E and 2 E and. Got it? 1 E and 2 and. All right. Let me play from the 4/16 to the first quarter, okay? What you're going to have there, you have 16ths. We'll do it cut time. They become 30 seconds. So I have 1 E and. That's to the first quarter. You got it? 1 E and. To the first quarter. Then you have 2 quarters left. Become eighth notes. 2 and. Yeah. 1 E and 2 and. 1 E and 2. It's just a matter of interpretation here. I'm taking what's there in 4/4 and playing it in cut time. You understand that? Got it? Now you go to line number 2. You have 1 and 2. And. The 30 seconds are going to start on the and. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and. See, what I started to do with the syncopation formulas is say, if you look at the line, I put it into 12 measures. This is in the book. The first, let's go to line 1. On the left-hand side of the page, it's going to be in 4/4. On the right-hand side, the same figure that's in that measure is going to be in cut time, and I'm running them all down, so you can understand it a lot better. Is that okay with you, Robert? And we could have questions on that and answers and give you a better insight on stuff. My hands are feeling really good today. Yeah. We got some more people coming into the stream, but nobody's in the chat. Ouch. Come on. Nobody's in the chat. Now, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the cut time today. What I wanted to do, and this is associated with the workbook. What I'd like you to do, number one, Robert, because you seem like you have a passion for knowledge, and you are not you're not I'm not measuring you as far as your playing ability. I measure nobody by that, but I do measure somebody by their attitude and by their consistency. And you're here twice a day, 4 times a week, and that tells me something about you. So here's what I'm going to do. from the new workbook, and because you were the first one to purchase the book as well, I'd like you to take a lesson out of the book that you want me to do, and we'll work on that. How's that sound, Robert? Or Bob? I keep, I see Robert there. A whole measure of what? The 30-second notes? Or of what line, Robert? All right, let me do that. I know what you mean. Let's do line 1 in 4/4 time. 1 E and 1 E and the 2, 3, 4. That's 2 measures of the first line in 4/4. Now I'm going to play 2, and I'm going to do it slower. I'm going to play the same thing I just did. That was in 4, but I'm going to play it in cut time. So I have a whole measure, 1 E and 2 and. See that? 1. That's the feel. Line 9. Okay, line 9. I have 1 E and 2 E and. So let's do the first 1 E. That's 1 E and right? So we have 1 E and 2 E and. I'm tagging a little bit of an accent there. Got it? Line 9. They all sound good, and they all have. They're just giving you the different. He's giving you the different phrasing. Where you use it, he has no right to tell you where you should use it, or do I have the right to tell you where you should use it? You have to use it where it fits and makes sense in the song structure and in your conversation with the other musicians. It's simple. So what you're going to do for me, Robert, maybe for tonight you can do it. You could email me and tell me, well, let's work on formula number 940. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever formula you'd like to work on, we'll hit on that one. And we'll stay on it. You got it now, huh? Very good. I'm glad that you do. You're going forward. Okay, now, that should be enough for today, because with the cut time, I want to go through some polyrhythmic things, if that's okay with you. Let's go page 30, lesson 12. Tell me when you're there. Page 30, lesson 12. Page 30, lesson 12. For those who just tuned in, we're working at the syncopation book. Okay, we're on page 30, lesson 12. Let me know, Robert. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy, hope I can see it, and we're going to use 3 against 2. I'm going to play 3, that's triplets with my left hand. What do you got there? That's a long name there, Jeffrey. Ha! I'm just going to call you Jeff, okay? All right, we're on lesson 12, page 30 in the syncopation book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the first line as written. I'm going to play it with one hand. It's, who else we have here? Jim, you're always late. That's okay, Jim. All right, we're going to work on, I have to repeat this again. Syncopation book, page 30, lesson 12. we're going to play it against, the left hand is going to play triplets, the right hand is going to play the line, straight up and down. So we have a polyrhythm going on. You're playing against the polyrhythm. The polyrhythm being 3 against 2. I'm going to play the 3 with the left hand. I'm going to play my bass drum on one of the 3. 1, 2, 3. That gives me my triplet. And then on the floor tom-tom, I'm going to play eighth notes. So I'm playing one rhythm against the other rhythm. Do we understand it? You want me to slow it down? I can put an accent all over the place with the left hand, but I won't. I'm just going to play straight ahead. That's what we're going to be working with. Now, we're going to take what's in the syncopation book, lesson 12, line 1. We're going to play what's written there straight up and down on the floor tom-tom. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, ding bang. So now we're going to play that line, just like I did with my right hand on the floor tom-tom, and we're going to play a left hand eighth note triplet. Ow, come on, left now you just stiffened up on me. All right, here we go. I'm going to play it in a medium tempo, then I'll break it down a little bit. Here we go. Now, I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to break that down. But notice, if you noticed, my left hand was consistent in sound. I did not have the sequence of the measures where I was at 1 be pronounced. Sometimes I do, but it's the ultimate thing here is what I like you to do is without an accent. All right, let's break it down. Do we understand it, or should I break it down further? Talk to me, gentlemen. All right, I'm going to break it down. Now, again, when I do polyrhythms, whether it be 3 against 2, 3 against 4, 5 against 2, 5 against 3, or whatever I'm doing, when I count eighth note triplets, and believe me, everybody says, I don't teach my students to count. Well, man, if I was a student, I would run away from that. Counting is essential. Counting is the first stepping stone or first step towards humming the tune. Okay? You understand that? All right. But, I mean, for those who don't understand it, just sometimes to revisit, unless you want me to do 3 against 4. Your choice, Bob, because you've been here. You're the first one always here and the most consistent with interacting. You understand it, Jim. You understand it, Robert. The 3 against 2, okay? You want me to go to 3 against 4? No problem. I just thought I'd give you some insight and some, what do I say? Some inspiration, I guess. All right, let's go to, I'll drive you guys cuckoo. Where are you? What happened to that page? I never forget this as long as I live. I had before I came to this town, Somerville, that was 25 years ago. I had 2 roommates. We rented a house in Metuchen, New Jersey. And the only people that lived there were drummers. Myself, a gentleman well, two other gentlemen. They all worked at Sam Ash Music in the drum department. One was the head of the drum department. He worked in New York City. So we referred to it as the drum house. And there was drums in that house 24/7, all the time. Sleep, forget it. But anyway, one of the fellows that was my roommate, he's still a great friend of mine, and we're always in contact every day. I turned him on to this. He was a student of mine. I turned him on to this lesson. And it was a Sunday afternoon when I turned him on to it. He come into my drum studio, and I started to work with him. But I haven't had anything to eat all day. So I said to him, I said, okay, why don't we just put this away? Let's go get something to eat, and we'll come back. He goes, no, I'm okay. Because this is how much this guy wanted to really do this. So I said, all right, I'm going to go get something to eat. I come back. About an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I come back home. He's still in my drum studio, still trying to work on it. That's the drive, the passion that the people I deal with have. And that really excites me, because that makes me motivated to really get intense with it. Okay, so enough of the bullshit. Now the first measure, or the first line, I'm on page 29, by the way. I should start off a little easier, but that's okay. Maybe I will start off a little easier, because I never did 3 against 4 with you guys. Let me start off a little easier. All right. Let's go to page 20. Guys, let me know when you're there. Page 20. Three against 4. Again, when I take the triplet, which is this hand, I'm not counting 1 and 2 and nor am I counting 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, or 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, 3 ta-ta, 4 ta-ta. I revert to a subdivision of, as page 20, Jim. I revert to a subdivision as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That gives me my triplet. Now, when I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, there's not enough time or room or space in between the 1 to the 2, the 2 to the 3. So I kind of open it up. My first opening up of that triplet would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So I opened it up a little bit. Now I'm just going to have to open that up a little further. Instead of me counting 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2 and 3, I'm going to have to count like this. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 1, 2, 3. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3. Do we all understand those 3 counting systems I just displayed? Yes or no? Because now we're on page 20, lesson 9. And we have 4/16 and a quarter. 1E and the 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to have some polyrhythms here. The left hand is going to be playing triplets, and what is written is going to be played on the floor tom-tom. So the first downbeat, 1, you have 3 against 4. On the second downbeat, you have 3 against 1. 3 against 1 and 3 against 1 twice. Okay, so we understand it. Okay. So now I'm going to count. I'm going to do first the first 3 against 4, and I'm going to break it down. 1E and 2E and 3E and now it sounds corny there because it's so slow. But you need to understand where the right hand falls on the 4. Do we all understand it? If I haven't written that out, I don't believe. All right, let me show you, let me explain where, if I'm counting 1E and a 2E and a 3E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3E and is going to establish the 3. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and we all understand that. Now, inside of that, we need to get the 4. So here's where the right hand falls on. The first downbeat is 1, E, and da. So I have 1 E and da. Got it? Now I go to 2. It's 2 E and da. Then you have 3 E and da. And I'll just keep doing. That's 3 against 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3. Here you go. All right, so I'm going to do line 1 now. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ah, got it? All right, let's go to line 2. 1, 2, 3. So I'm doing 3 polyrhythms here. 3 against 1 and 3 against 4 against 1. So here's the 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Do we understand that so far, gentlemen? I need a drink of water. Oof, it's very hot in here. Jeff, do you understand that? Where is that? I can go on further. Now, that's the first, that's the simple one. I'll sit there all day and I'll distribute, I'll change where the grouping is. For example, if I'm playing 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here, I'll say, okay, let me play the 3 over here. 1. Got it? Or play the 3, play the 3 with the bass drum. 1, 2, 3, and play the 1 over on the floor. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So on and so. I'll just, you change the voicings around. But I would first start just with 1, 2, 3. That's a simple page. The next 2 pages are simple with a variety of things. But now, if you go over to the next page, which is 32, you have you've added some more polyrhythm forms. You have 3 against 1, against 2, against 4. You understand that, gentlemen? And Robert, you're going to definitely tell me what formula you want to work on tonight, because you are the most consistent and the first one always here. Never late, Jim. Jeffrey, you still here? Okay, let's go to page 22. You have 3 against 4, 3 against 2, against 1. Let's establish the 3 against 2 against 1. 1, no, yeah, well, I could do a lot more. It's 3 against 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you got that. Now, let's take the first measure on line 1. You have the first downbeat is 3 against 4. Then the second downbeat is 3 against 2. 3, 4. So you have 3 against 4 against 2 against 2 against 2 over and over again. Now, I recommend, highly recommend, that you work with this with, ouch, this old age shit sucks, with a metronome. Well, Bob is a good example there, Jim. Jim just said that Bob, or Robert rather, I like to call him Bob, he wants to be called Bob, is a good example of learning. And he has a good attitude, and he's a good example to everybody. So we all tip our hats to Robert and congratulate him on his award. Bob, do you play another instrument besides the drums? You said something about guitar or piano? Because piano is the root. That's where it all comes from, everything that you play. And from Aristotle, the mathematics. Well, Jim, you're about learning. I'm probably, all right, I have to say, we're going to demote Bob. We're going to put him number 2. I'm number 1. Number 1 in the fact that I have a hunger. I don't know if anybody, I mean, I just goofing here, of learning, man. I mean, I just can't wait when I wake up in the morning to understand what I'm going to learn that's new. Now, the piano is, like I said, Bob, is the root. I've had some theory lessons in the past. The Mohican book, is it? The modes, playing the chord changes and the key changes, rather, and humming the melody. That is something that's very time-consuming, but it's very fruitful in the end because you understand the flow of music. The piano, I love the drums, man. They're my instrument, but, when I was a child of 11 or 12, if I had both piano lessons and guitar and drum lessons, I would have reached something higher than what I am right now. But the piano is the ultimate. All right, anyway, you want me to continue with the polyrhythms on that page? You guys on that page? 3 against 4 against 2 against 1? That's where the table of time comes in, using separate limbs. And it's nice to alternate the 3 against 4 or 3 against 2 with either the right hand, the left hand, or the bass drum, or even the hi-hat. It's a coordination development exercise. Now tonight, 7 p.m., my site, okay? And we're going to get an email from Robert or Bob, and it's going to be his choice tonight of, out of the formula book, what lesson he would like to hit on. And be gentle there, Bob. That's a difficult book. And it's a book that's going to last forever in your library and in your mind, and especially in your playing. It's a developmental book. I just love this symbol. I still haven't gotten a chance to get to Dave Stanik's Mastering the Tables of Time, one of his lessons, like modulation or something. Do we all know what modulation means, gentlemen? I'll give it a little display of modulation before I close up. Well, I'll tell you what, Jim. I have a big house. It's like almost 4,000 square feet. I built it myself. And there was one room that was very special to me. I made it as big as I could possibly make it. And that's my drum studio in my home. And it's a great place for me to be, but sometimes I spend too much time in it, and I need to spend a little bit more time with my family. Okay, modulation. Do we all know what modulation means? It's familiar, similar to syncopation, I would say. If I'm playing straight ahead, I could subdivide the count, and that's sort of a modulation. If I play it 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. audience, gentlemen? If not, you have an assignment. Look it up. Go to Wikipedia, perhaps, or look it up on Google. Metric modulation. Are there any questions on the lesson we just did? Well, Jim, you know, for the last 2 weeks, first off, I sold this morning when I woke up. There was 4 payments in my PayPal account, okay? And that was for PDFs. Now, you know, I've been doing free lessons, and for my site I've charged an admission. And I'm going to be closing this up, and I'm not going to do it as often as possible. What's this? All right, well, you have the book, Jim, so are you concerned about the other students? I mean, I have to send them a PDF for something I've been sending PDFs for the last 2 years, 6, 7, 8 pages a day. And you know what? Out of all 100 people I send it to, maybe 2 would say thank you. And that pisses me off. There's a lot of work writing that shit out. So I'm going to have it for sale. You want to continue doing these lessons? You have the workbook. You have the formulas. Yeah, it's nice to me again to say, okay, guys, this is what we're going to work on tonight. So here's the formula. I'm going to give it to you, what you should be paying for it. Now, $25 for 180 pages is not a bad price. The book, on the first page, we could start it. But the book, it's only available in the U.S. for $45. You know, guys go out and buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack of beer for $15, $20. You know, so, you know, please. You want to participate? You have to buy that. Sorry, man. I'm not going to break that bond. And yeah, Jim, I think I'm a pretty nice guy. You know, I want to give, like, there's that new guy that come on here. I forgot his name. And I said I'd send him a book and I sent, as a matter of fact, I sent PDFs to 2 guys without being paid for. And I still haven't heard from him. As a matter of fact, the one guy don't even come to the lesson no more. Where's that at? So I'm not going to lose. It works both ways here. Now, there's no problem, you know, to get $25 up. I highly recommend the workbook. Yeah, it's up there in price, but where do you go out in a music store or on Amazon and find a drum book that's worth $45 with 180 different pages of formulas? That's how I feel about it. You know, a thank you, man, makes me melt because I'm helping somebody. But to send all those PDFs out every day and not even get the thank you, that hurts. Okay, I'm going to close up. As a matter of fact, I do have to go to Staples and pick up some more books. Jim, you said that you have your 2 friends that want the book. I have to get them printed out. I mean, I'm going to pick up right now 10 books. I do have 6 of them sold. I'll have 4 extra ones. If they want to purchase the books now, they can purchase them. Or it's going to be a while. All right, gentlemen. We shall see everybody tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to work on page 1 of the workbook. Thank you, Bob. So, Jim, you have the workbook. Look at page 1. And also, if you call them today and you speak to them, I want to set something up in stone for next month, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's best to have more people as opposed to just one person. All right, Jim. So you have a good rest of the day. Until tonight at 7 p.m., I shall see you. Okay, gentlemen? You're welcome, Bob.